no wedding, no husband. Just a knock at the window and maybe a new lover for the night. What if these people were willing to turn down $30 million just to spend their entire lives in a cave? From secret pictograph languages to 5-kilo horned headdresses, these are China's 8 most bizarre tribes you've never heard of until now. High in the misty hills of Yunnan and Sichuan, a teenage girl smooths out a floral bedsheet, placing hand-stitched pillows just so. Her room is hers alone. Tonight, she might welcome a boy through the window. Tomorrow, someone else, or no one at all. This is the Moshua tribe, often called the Kingdom of Women. In Moshua culture, there are no marriages. No wedding ceremonies, no wedding rings. Instead, there's something called a walking marriage, or zuhun. When a Moshua woman chooses a lover, he visits at night and returns to his mother's house by morning. The children born from these unions stay with their mother, always. Lineage, inheritance, even surnames, all pass through the female line. Men aren't absent, they just have a different role. Uncles, not fathers, raise children. Fathers are often known but aren't expected to play a part in their children's daily lives. I never had a husband, says Lamu, a 56-year-old matriarch. But I've raised 3 children, built this home and planted every tree in that garden. Why would I need one? This isn't chaos, it's structure. It's stable. It's worked for more than 2,000 years. According to China's 2024 Ethnic Affairs Commission, roughly 40,000 Moshua people remain today, primarily in Ninglan County, with the majority still practicing elements of this unique system. The grandmother, known as the Mei, is the true head of the household. She manages the money, disciplines the children, and commands respect. Her word is law. Now the Moshua hold on. Can a society survive without fathers, husbands, or nuclear families in a world that demands conformity? Comment yes or no below and share your thoughts with us. In the next village, women don't rule, but they wear the weight of history on their heads. What does it mean to inherit your grandmother's hair? This is the long-horned Miao, a tiny subgroup of the Miao ethnic minority, known for one of the most extraordinary traditions in China, wearing the hair of their ancestors. Each towering hairpiece, sometimes weighing over 5 kilograms, is made from 3 things: the woman's own hair, the hair of her mother and grandmother, and white cotton thread. Together, they're wrapped around 2 horn-shaped combs to create elaborate headdresses, symbols of strength, beauty, and continuity. When I wear my grandmother's hair, I feel her watching over me, says 29-year-old Lang Mei, who dances during festivals in the remote hills near Liupan Shui. Girls begin learning to bind their horns by age 5. By the time they're teenagers, they're expected to wear them with grace during ceremonies and festivals, especially the annual Siuba festival, where hundreds of women parade in embroidered silks, horns glittering under the sun. As modernization creeps in and schools discourage non-standard hairstyles, many young Miao girls are swapping ancestral horns for straight-cut bangs and ponytails. Still, women like Lang Mai resist. Some say it's old-fashioned, she says. But when I put this on, I carry more than beauty. I carry my bloodline. The horns aren't glued or sewn, they're balanced with skill and fastened with cloth. During long dances, not a single curl shifts. It's elegance born from discipline. Stepping away from the long-horned Miao for a moment, which tribe turned down $30 million worth of housing to keep living in caves? Stay tuned, we'll dive deeper into this story next. Deep in the limestone mountains of Guizhou province, not ruins, a shelter, but a real village, Zhongdong, China's last known cave settlement, where people still live year-round. The Miao people here chose stone over steel, earth over asphalt, community over convenience. The entrance to Zhongdong cave yawns wide, roughly the size of 4 football fields. Its vaulted ceiling rises nearly 100 feet. There's no road in, only a steep, 1-hour trek up a winding mountain trail brings you here. We don't need walls. says 67-year-old Wen Yunji, warming sweet potatoes over a coal fire. This cave is our roof. In 2005, the Guizhou government offered residents modern homes worth around $30 million. The catch: they had to leave their mountain. Most said no. Until recently, Zhongdong had its own school, desks arranged beneath the cave's natural arch, a Chinese flag pinned to rock, children's laughter echoing across stone. But in 2011, the government shut it down, citing safety and modernization standards. Now kids walk 2 hours round trip to attend school in the valley below. The school was our pride, says Yunji's granddaughter, La Laixuan. Now it feels like we're being pushed out. Despite hardship, families continue daily life, planting corn on cliffside terraces, raising pigs, drying herbs on racks of split bamboo. At night, they gather for meals beneath low lantern light. The temperature stays cool year-round, and the air carries a clean, mineral scent, unlike any city. While only around 20 families remain today, each has weighed comfort against culture and chosen roots over relocation. Yet tensions rise. Young people are leaving. Cell towers are inching closer. Tourists with cameras poke in and out, hoping to capture cave life. Some villagers earn side income from this attention, but at cost. Would you trade Wi-Fi and warm showers for a life carved into stone? If yes, comment number 3. If no, comment number 1, and let us know your thoughts. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss our next video. Thank you for your love and support, and stay tuned for more eye-opening content. What if your language could only be spoken by a shaman? This is the language of the Lolo, one of China's most mysterious and smallest ethnic groups, and fewer than 3,000 remain according to a 2024 report by China Ethnic Daily. They call themselves the DI. Their rituals begin in silence. Then a shaman, often the oldest man in the village, steps forward with a folded script in hand. Not Mandarin, not even a spoken Lolo dialect. This is a pictographic script, a language of symbols passed down for centuries, used only during ceremonies like weddings, harvests, and funerals. Each character is hand-drawn on scrolls of yellowed paper or dyed cloth. Only a few dozen elders can read it. No keyboard exists for it. No app, no online translation. Lolo women wear hats like messages. In these remote hilltop villages near Malipo and Jinping, your headwear tells your story. Young girls wear square caps, married women, round ones, widows and elders. They weave layers of memory into their designs, flashes of pink, black, and silver thread against indigo-dyed cotton. Clothing isn't just beautiful, it's a biography. Every color, every thread, a silent signal of status, family, and age. When a Lolo woman marries, the groom doesn't take her away. He moves in with her family, sometimes for years. The wife stays close to her mother and sisters. The man becomes part of her household, helping in the fields and family rituals. I live with my wife's parents, says Cheng, a 30-year-old groom. They treat me like their son, but I had to earn that. Could you live in a world where marriage turns family dynamics upside down? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Fewer than 10 villages still hold full fire rituals. Fewer than 20 elders still know the ancient script. And yet, each time the flames rise, the Lolo breathe life into a culture that refuses to vanish. Could you survive a minus 50 degrees Celsius winter, herding reindeer in China's frozen forests? Meet the last of China's nomadic snow survivors. In the snow-blanketed forests of Inner Mongolia, silence rules. These are the Yuenki, China's last reindeer herders. They live not just in isolation, but in extreme cold, where winter can drop to a minus 50 degrees Celsius. There are no radiators here, no supermarkets, no traffic. Only the breath of reindeer, the crunch of snow under felt boots, and the quiet rhythm of survival. The reindeer Renki, also called the Evenki, have roamed the Greater Khingan Mountains for centuries. Today, fewer than 250 Yuanqi families still maintain the reindeer herding tradition, according to the China National Ethnic Affairs Commission's 2024 census report. They live in Kualuozi traditional conical tents covered in reindeer pelts, stitched tight for insulation. And their connection to the herd is spiritual. Reindeer are not just livestock, they're kin. Without reindeer, we are nothing, says Nala, a 64-year-old herder. They feed us, guide us, warm us. Each morning begins with fire, then comes feeding the herd. Herders track them across frozen ridges, sometimes skiing with homemade wooden slats. Children are raised within this rhythm, though now many split time between forest and boarding schools. Cell phones charge from solar panels. News travels slowly. But the forest teaches patience, and patience here is survival. Modern pressures mount. Roads cut through ancient migration routes. Tourism brings curiosity and intrusion. Some younger Yuanqi are moving to cities for work. The old ways, passed down orally and by hand, risk fading with each generation. In 2023, the Chinese government introduced new preservation programs, including grants to support reindeer population growth and cultural festivals. But time moves differently in the forest. The question remains, can tradition survive without freezing in place? What if a street sign in China pointed you in Vietnamese? Discover the town where sea gods are worshipped and children speak Nom script. In the misty hills of Guangxi's Tam Dao Township, a faded street sign points to the market in two languages, Chinese and Vietnamese. This isn't Vietnam, it's in southern China. And this is home to the Kin people, an ethnic Vietnamese community who've lived here for over 500 years, quietly keeping their language, traditions, and identity alive. The Kin's ancestors crossed into China during the 16th century, fleeing political upheaval and war. They settled in these fog-covered hills and never left. Though officially Chinese citizens today, many still identify as Viet Duo Xi, ethnic Vietnamese. According to a 2024 study by the Chinese Academy of Social Sciences, an estimated 12,000 Kin descendants live in scattered communities across southern China, with the largest in Tam Dao. They still worship sea gods, offer incense during Vietnamese New Year, and prepare traditional dishes like ban chung and can chua in clay-walled kitchens. My mother taught me to sing lullabies in Vietnamese, says 38-year-old Min, a local school teacher. Now I teach my daughter. Inside a small community schoolhouse, a 10-year-old boy traced curving characters with a bamboo brush. It's Chu Nom, a classical Vietnamese script banned in Vietnam since the 20th century but preserved here for tradition's sake. They also play the Dan Bao, a one-string instrument with a haunting, bending tone, its sound echoing through the hills during evening gatherings. At home we speak Vietnamese, says Min, but at school, on TV, online, it's all Mandarin. The community walks a delicate line between pride and pressure. Modern China is fast and identity can blur. Many young Kin now move to larger cities for school and jobs. When they return, they bring back smartphones, fast fashion, and less fluency in their own heritage. Government education promotes Mandarin, and official textbooks barely mention Vietnam's cultural influence in these regions. Still, cultural leaders are fighting to preserve what's left. In 2023, Tam Dao launched a Kin Cultural Heritage Festival, drawing over 4,000 visitors, according to China Daily. We are not disappearing, Min insists. We're adapting, but we are still here. Up next, a 400-year-old village burns to the ground in a single gust. What happens to tradition when the home that holds it turns to ash? It began with a spark. Just past noon, as children played under woven awnings and elders prepared rice wine for an upcoming harvest festival, a strong wind swept through Ngioa Tok Trai, a Wana ethnic village in Yunnan province. Within minutes, thatched rooftops, some dating back centuries, were in flames. Smoke poured into the sky. Homes collapsed in waves. In less than 2 hours, nearly the entire village was gone. According to the Yunnan Daily, the April 2024 fire destroyed over 100 homes, affecting nearly 600 residents and leaving the village uninhabitable. No deaths were reported, but everything else, livelihoods, heirlooms, history, was reduced to ash. Ngo Atok Tri wasn't just a village, it was a living archive of Wa tradition. For over 400 years, the community preserved customs like drum rituals and communal rain prayers, and it passed from generation to generation beneath roofs built without a single nail. At the heart of the village stood two carved wooden statues, Muiji and Ai, guardians of the land, said to protect against disease and misfortune. When the fire swept through, villagers carried them out on their shoulders, chanting as they ran. They were saved. But the question now, what else can be? After the fire, the government provided emergency shelter in nearby towns and funded temporary housing in hotels for displaced families. Volunteers from surrounding villages brought food and supplies. But for many Wa villagers, being separated from the land, their ancestral soil, feels like losing their identity. We're grateful for the help, Lami says, but a hotel room can't replace a sacred drum or the tree where my parents were married. Reconstruction has begun. As of March 2025, the Yunnan Provincial Cultural Bureau has pledged around $2.5 million USD to rebuild Ngo Atok Tri in its original style with input from local artisans and elders. But some worry the rebuilt village will become a tourist site, a replica, not a home. Finally, in the mountains of Hunan, brides sob together with their mothers every night for 30 days. Is crying the greatest act of love? In the highlands of western Hunan, as red silk dresses hang drying in the morning mist and rice wine is stirred over open fires, a young woman sits in a wooden room, crying. Not out of sorrow, not out of fear, but out of tradition. This is the Tujia ethnic group, one of China's oldest minority cultures, known for a wedding ritual that defies expectations. The bride must cry every day, for 30 days before her wedding. I cried with my mother. She cried with her mother. It's how we say goodbye, explains Yu Mei, a 26-year-old Tujia bride preparing for her ceremony near Zhangjiaji. Known locally as Zutang, sitting in the hall, the ritual starts 1 month before the wedding. Each evening, the bride-to-be enters a room with her mother, grandmother, aunts and sisters, and together they weep, deliberately, rhythmically, sometimes even in harmony. It sounds like a song, says scholar Li Kun of the Hunan Folk Culture Institute, but it's sung through tears. The women chant verses mourning the bride's departure, thanking the family that raised her, and blessing the new one she will join. According to a 2024 survey by the China Ethnic Cultural Research Center, fewer than 15% of Tujia families in rural regions still practice the full 30-day crying ritual today, but shortened versions remain common in traditional villages. Western wedding scenes are often filled with joy and celebration, but in Tujia culture, sorrow marks the beginning of love. Crying isn't weakness, it's release, it's strength, it's acknowledging the weight of transition. They say if a bride doesn't cry, she's not ready, says Yu Mei's grandmother, who remembers crying until dawn on her own wedding eve. As younger generations embrace city life, many Tujia traditions have begun to fade. Urban weddings often skip the ritual entirely. Some say it's outdated, others embarrassing. But Shumai disagrees. It's hard to cry in front of people, but once I started, I understood what it meant. She now teaches the practice in local cultural workshops funded by the Hunan Provincial Tourism Bureau, which in 2025 launched efforts to preserve intangible ethnic heritage like Tujia weddings through festivals and community grants. And so we end where we began, with a girl in her room, facing change, wrapped in ceremony. From reindeer herders to pictograph keepers, fire dancers to forest dwellers, you've seen a side of China few ever do. 8 tribes, 8 ways of life, all holding on to culture in a world spinning fast. If you enjoyed today's video, please hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Your support means a lot to us. Click on the video that appears on your screen right now. I'm sure you'll love this content. question, comment below about the next country you want to see featured on our channel. Thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next video. Thanks for being with us on this great journey. Leave your thoughts in the comments and like to help us. Remember to subscribe.